Welcome back to part 2 of our gear review for what we packed when we were traveling around the island of Puerto Rico. Hopefully this video helps you to know what to pack so that you have a more enjoyable trip, and it helps you to save money and maybe be a little bit more flexible while you're traveling. Okay, so the next thing that I was really glad that we brought, and we bring these on every single trip, earplugs. But these are an absolute necessity in Puerto Rico. It is kind of loud there. People play music really loud at all hours of the night when they're driving, and you will hear it for like a mile away. And chickens. There are a lot of chickens pretty much everywhere, like even when we were in the city, chickens. And the chickens wake up before the sun. So if you have any plans of sleeping past like the crack of dawn, earplugs. Super important. Also really helpful on the plane. If you are next to somebody who's maybe snoring or anything like that, have earplugs on you all the time. Don't leave them in your checked bag. Keep them with you on the plane. The other thing, again, from our camping gear that we pretty much always bring, because it's good to have, are our headlamps. So when we were in Raincoat, the power went out, and that was the only place we actually lost power, but I was really glad that we had our headlamps. And then there were a bunch of other times we actually used our headlamps quite a few times if we were checking in and it was dark, or if we had to go out toward our car. There's not a lot of street lights in a lot of areas, or when you're in the jungle, it's dark, they don't have lighted pathways, so the headlamp is what's going to get you to be able to walk around, or even in the room, like if Patrick is sleeping and I want to read my book, I put my headlamp on and I can read and it doesn't bother him. So really helpful to have light. And I think if you're not a camper, that is something that you kind of don't think about, especially when you're going to another country. This is going to be really useful. Okay, and then the raincoat. I recommend having a raincoat that packs into itself for one really important reason. So if you have this giant raincoat that you're going to bring with you and you look outside and it's sunny, you're going to be like, oh, I'll leave the raincoat. I don't feel like bringing this giant raincoat with me. If you have a raincoat that packs into itself and has a little loop like this, you put a carabiner on it, and I just clip it to the outside of my backpack. So I always have it with me. And if it starts to rain, which it very frequently does when you're on the northern side of the island, when you're in the rainforest, it'll like downpour for half an hour and then just stop and the sun will come out because it's a rainforest. It's really good to have this on you because if not, you will get soaked. So this is, I've had this raincoat forever. I think I actually got it when I was a kid and I was going camping with my dad. There it is. Columbia, and it does the job, but there you go. If you've seen me wearing it in any of the videos, it's kind of long, which I really like because it covers me more when it's raining, especially when it's like downpouring. You want more coverage, and I can like pull my hands into the sleeves and have the hood all the way over me, so I feel like I'm really protected. So definitely get a good raincoat that packs into itself because you'll be more likely to keep it with you for more of the trip, and that's when you're probably going to need it. We were just sitting there soaking up the warmth because we knew very soon we were going to have to go back home to the cold, and we sat there in the sun with our solar charger. This solar charger has saved us quite a few times where we were hiking and I had to charge the camera because the camera died or one of our cell phones died, and you just leave that out in the sun. We put it on the bench right next to us, and you can have your phone plugged into it while it's charging. And then even when you're not in the sun, like right now, it still has a pretty good charge on it. It has like 2 bars on there, and that was after I used it to charge my phone before we got on the plane. That was so very helpful so that you don't go on the plane with a dead battery. These are the bowls that we usually use when we're camping, plastic bowls. Again, I believe I've had these for many, many years because we got these when I was a kid and we were going to upstate New York to go camping. These are a newer edition. These are Light My Fire sporks, and we pretty much take them on every trip too, because you don't even realize how useful it is to have a spoon and a fork with you. We did a lot of oatmeal and a lot of cereal for breakfast. Pretty much most of the time we ate our own breakfast, and then we would try to go out to lunch as like our meal that we would go out to eat for, because lunch is usually cheaper than going out for dinner, and you can eat something real easy for breakfast and then just wait until you get hungry, do a bigger meal for lunch, and then that will hold you over for most of the day. And then we would do something easy for dinner like peanut butter and jelly or soup or something like that. So that was kind of one of our money saving strategies until toward the end of the trip, when we did go out for a couple extra meals, but by then we knew that we were okay on our overall budget, so we got to go out to some nicer dinners after that. But these will save you a lot of money so that you don't have to go out to eat for every single meal. And I don't know about you, but for me, if I constantly go out to eat and I'm eating way more than I usually do at home, that does not make me feel good during the trip, and then I won't want to do as much stuff. And traveling is really about being able to experience everything. So if I keep my body happier and able to do more, you're going to get more out of the trip. So being really aware of what you're eating, how much you're eating, and then going out for those occasional meals that you can really, really enjoy. All right, so the last things that I'm going to show you are the bug spray and the sunscreen that we brought with us. The bug spray, we actually didn't even use it, and I think it was just because of the time of year that we were there. There were a couple mosquitoes when we were in the jungle area. On the southern part of the island, we didn't have any mosquitoes, I don't think. But this is the bug spray that we use. It's from REI, and it was actually recommended to us by the manager of REI before we went to Ecuador, when we were really concerned about bugs when we were going to the rainforest. It's a 3-ounce size, so you can actually put it into your carry-on. But in the summer, we were told that bug spray is a must, especially when you're in the rainforest. The other thing that you really have to buy before you go, and I should have had a couple more tubes of this one's pretty much almost empty, is the Reef Safe sunscreen. This is really important because when you are going swimming anywhere that has coral reefs, a lot of the chemicals that are in the sunscreen that are going to come off your body when you're at the beach are harmful to the coral reefs. And when you're going somewhere, you're going there to enjoy it, you want to really be mindful that you're not doing things that are going to damage those things that you're actually going there to see. So we had to pick up, we got 2 more bottles of sunscreen when we were there, just the regular old sunscreen. And we used that just for when we were out in the sun, but this is what we used when we were going to go into the water, so that we knew that we weren't doing damage to the coral. And a lot of places, when you go on excursions, they actually require you to have a certain kind of sunscreen so that it doesn't damage the coral. So I just ordered this on Amazon right before we left, and it worked really well. We only got a little bit of sunburn, but that was kind of our fault because we didn't reapply enough. But I didn't find any Reef Safe sunscreen when we were actually there, which is kind of a shame. They should definitely have that in the stores where you're getting sunscreen, but we can order that before we leave. So if that's part of your trip planning, that's a really good thing to just keep in mind and make sure that you know about. Okay, one more thing. I wanted to show you the bag that I use when I am traveling. I got this bag at REI, and I got it, I forget which trip I bought it for. It might have been California, but this is actually my day-to-day work bag. I put my laptop in here, I bring my lunch to work. This goes with me every single day, and it is the most functional bag that I've ever had. I keep my wallet in here. So the reason that I love this bag for traveling is, number one, it's a perfect personal item when you're flying on a plane. It fits right underneath the seat in front of you. You're not trying to cram it in there. It's pretty good. There's lots of spots to use carabiners, and this is one of the ways that I fit more stuff in my personal bag or outside of my personal bag. This is an inflatable neck pillow, and just an FYI, I would not buy this again. It's the Sea to Summit Eros pillow premium traveler. I think it was like $50, and it doesn't really work that well. It doesn't stay in place, it deflates, you'll fall asleep for like an hour and then you have to blow it back up. We both have these. We use them because we have them. I really feel like we should have returned them. Not worth the money. The other thing you definitely want to bring when you go to Puerto Rico is a reusable bag. They charge you for bags in Puerto Rico, which I think is excellent. And I wish I had known. This is my Chico bag. I bring this pretty much everywhere that I go to. It's usually attached to my wallet so that when I go to buy something, I can't forget my reusable bag, because I've done that many, many times. I just wish I had like 2 more of these when we were there, because we ran out of reusable bag. I couldn't fit everything in this one, so we ended up like putting things in the cart and then piling them into the car. But the thing about this bag is it has a bunch of pockets. Water bottle pockets on the sides. I can get to a bunch of stuff. Pockets here, pockets on the other side, 2 pockets on the back where you can fit papers, books, things. But here's the really neat thing. So these are the backpack straps on here, and if you see the video when we were in Puerto Rico, I pretty much had this bag on me all the time in backpack mode. Most of the time when I'm using it day to day, I take the backpack straps off. You just unclip the bottom, and then I tuck it into this back pocket, like that. One-handed, like that. So this is how the bag usually is during the day. Like when I'm using it for work, that's how it is, and I usually use the shoulder strap, and I just kind of take it like that, put my laptop in it. It has a padded sleeve for my laptop when I go to work, which is awesome. And yeah, there's all sorts of pockets inside. The top has a zipper closure so that you don't have to worry about stuff falling out. I kind of wish some of the other spaces had zipper closure too, because that's really helpful when you're traveling. But inside you can see there's like a bunch of different pockets and sleeves and spaces for pens and things like that. So it's a great work bag and a great travel bag, which is why I got it. I think it was about $100, maybe a little under $100. But when you live in a tiny house, we've talked a lot about how almost everything has to have a dual purpose, and you can't have a bunch of luggage. You have no storage. There's no place for luggage. We have one giant suitcase that stays at Patrick's parents' house. But other than that, like, Patrick uses his motorcycle backpack for traveling. We have his personal bag, which is like our camera bag, and my work bag / personal bag. So everything has to be double duty in the tiny house because you don't have storage space. So I think for me, this is the perfect travel bag. I've had it for probably at least 2 years, maybe a little more than that. And it's just starting to show a little bit of wear, where the handle straps are starting to pull away from the bag. And I think I might just take it to a tailor and get it fixed when that starts to rip, because I like the bag so much. But I would definitely buy another one of these. I kind of wish it came in a different color. It was either this green or a black, but it's alright. It's very functional. And Patrick is out picking up Redford, so they should be home pretty soon. So I'm going to clean up this disaster in the tiny house so that we can hang out with Redford, because we really missed him. Alright. Oh, Redford's home! Yay! Hi, Red! Hi! Yay! Hello! Are you good? Is he good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, hello. Thanks for watching part 2 of our gear review following our trip to Puerto Rico. In the fall of 2019, we're going to be doing our regular fall camping trip, and this year is going to be a trip around Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and through Pennsylvania. And there's a little bit of a surprise with that trip. It's not going to be our normal tent camping trip.